G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We're here on the pup casting Beastie, who is playing in the south of the map as the Chinese in the color yellow, and on the north side of the map in the color teal, playing as the Ottomans, we've got Mido. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are here on the public update preview, watching and hoping that we see some of the new changes that are going to be coming through to these civilizations. Of course, if you're unaware of them, let me help you go through them, or run you through them. For the Chinese, there's a couple changes, most notably to the Grenadier. That's quite a big change, obviously a very late game change, but something that's pretty close to my heart. Over on the Ottoman side, realistically, there is some pretty big changes over there. You know what? I should probably familiarize myself a little bit more with their changes before introducing them all to you. But now that I think about it, I'm carrying the one right now, and I'm thinking. Obviously, we've got the Sipahi change, which allows their units or their Sipahi to hit a little bit further than what a normal horseman would be able to. So, as an example, you'll be familiar with the technology from the Abbasid dynasty for the spearmen, which is called the phalanx technology. That increases the ability, or that increases the range that their little stabby sticks can hit. Well, guess what? The Sipahi have just got that as standard. Look at this, Mido coming in with double trouble. You would have seen this in plenty of low ELO Legends games. This is what we like to call the double banger right here. Mido. Oh, look at that. A brain. How does he fit a brain that big in a head that small? That is my question. Look at that. Beautiful stuff. You know, I actually played a game on mountain clearing, and I was watching the replay, and I had the opportunity to do this, and I didn't do it. And I was like, how did I miss that, man? It's such a nice opportunity to do. Nice little way to save 50 wood and boost yourself up a little bit in the early stages of the game. So I'm gonna be really happy there. So obviously the big changes for the Sipahi. So hopefully we see that today. Now I've heard rumors that it's absolutely busted. So basically with the Sipahi, that it's not just the first row that is attacking enemy units, but there's a second row behind that can also attack enemy units because they can stab like over the top of that. And a little bit of, never mind. He managed to get up pretty close there. I'll accept that. Essentially, you can stab over the top of other Sipahi. And what I think is so curious about that is because of the unique ability of the Sipahi, which enables them to increase their attack speed. So now you've got like this front line of Sipahi, or maybe, who knows, maybe you do like men-at-arms on the front line, and then you have the Sipahi behind, and you're pumping out that attack speed bonus, and they're also like hitting over the top. Like, that'd be pretty crazy to see. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, one of the things to note is this matchup here is very, personally, I feel very favored in this matchup when I am playing as the Chinese. I love this matchup against the Ottomans, just simply because it takes some time for the Ottomans to get going, and by the time that they actually get going, you've already done everything that you need to do. You've got your Song dynasty. Is he gonna kill the sheep? Is he gonna sacrifice? Oh my god, I thought he was gonna sacrifice the sheep. I think he probably, or sacrificed the spear to kill the sheep, but he didn't do it. Mido playing a dangerous game there, running into the town center. Of course, if we take a look from Mido's perspective, that was the first time he'd actually got vision of where Beastie's base was. Now, let's check in with the landmarks, because we've got the Imperial Academy coming up here for Beastie. A little bit of an interesting position here. It's curious that he goes for it in this spot. I would have thought back here would have been a better spot. I'd love to pick their brains about this and understand, why do you go for the Imperial Academy here? Obviously, it's close to the mill. It's nice, but you don't hit your wood in this way. I mean, you might hit this wood, but this is your far wood. You don't really want to be hitting that, do you? Anyway, Spearman just holding position for the moment, just being a little bit annoying, just keeping vision. Over on the other side, though, we do have the Sultanate trade network coming through, so this has been changed recently. So Sultanate trade network has, well, obviously there's been massive changes to the way that trade works for Age of Empires 4. So now essentially you have a market that will receive gold, and you've also got a trading post that will receive gold. So one of the things to note, though, is that trading posts are in the bases for each of these players. So you can see it's quite close here. Beastie's got his in the back as well, so can't really contest the enemy one. So I would hope that Mido either keeps his traders inside the trade network, either that, or he looks to put a market down in this corner and begin trading. But obviously up against the Chinese, you're playing a dangerous game. Barbican going to be coming down. Interesting position for the Barbican as well by Beastie. So this is a classic case where I feel like Barbican on the gold would make sense. Whereas, like, you can just wall these off and pretty much not think about it. But I think Beastie's kind of thinking about, like, expansion. You know, I'm going to need these berries. It kind of protects over towards this west side as well. So maybe he can get, like, a really nice wall off over here. And then he doesn't even have to think about it. Gives him a great staging ground. He's got the berries in the back as well. So it kind of sets him up for a really nice food economy. When it comes to his deer, deer is pretty far away, and it's towards the center of the map as well. So I don't think he's going to be looking at getting that, but he will be losing the mining camp here. So he's going to hit that Song Dynasty timing, though. And not a bad little timing either, about 520, 525, somewhere around that region. And we do indeed see the lumber camp coming down now, which is, you know, as you can see, that the idea is, at least for me, what I want to be doing is have that Imperial Academy intersect. And I often talk about this over on my Patreon, which, by the way, if you want to improve, make sure you check it out. I'll leave a link in the description where you can catch that exclusive coaching content over there. But one of the things I often talk about is base building. Now, it looks like he does intersect the stone, but I can't help but feel like the tax he's going to get from the wood is going to far outweigh the tax that he gets from the stone. But so normally you'd go for like the Imperial Academy, somewhere around here, intersect the mill, and then hit the lumber camp. But let's ride on board with Mido though, because Mido is going to be adding in the stable. We're at about the 6-minute mark here, so coming in a little bit late in the feudal age. So not opening up with super aggression. We do see he's still holding on spears for the moment. Villager just kind of chilling out at the moment. Hasn't moved in towards that market. And we do see a second military school and a blacksmith getting thrown down by Mido at the same time. He's up to 3 traders now in the Sultanate trade network. And we see the 4th one now coming in. Now, one thing to note is that these traders produce 28 gold per minute. That's actually pretty decent gold. Like, in the scheme of things, that's not terrible amounts of gold. Villagers here for Beastie, though, going to be looking to come out. Oh, my lord, they managed to take out that spear. I didn't even realize that it was on such low health. I'm not sure why the health bar wasn't showing for me. But you can see Mido just doing the nice little dance here. A little bit of a jig. Ideally, Beastie wants to get to 900 stone. Now, that one's carrying 7, so he might have to go to something like 896 or something like that, but he's got to be careful. Might lose a spearman here, you can see, or might lose a villager, but the spears get trapped in. Beastie going to try. Looks like the split comes through, and he's able to keep them alive, and the stone outcropping should have enough now through on it where he should be able to walk away and get that second TC down. So Beastie going to be happy with that, looking to drop that second TC down next to the primary TC. And I often see this question posted on on a lot of the videos that I cast, and people ask, why do the Chinese players always put their second town center next to their first one? There's a couple of reasons why we do it, but essentially with the Chinese, we don't want to be utilizing our town centers as resource drop-off points, because you can't supervise a town center. You can supervise an economic building like a mill or a mining camp. So if I put, as an example, this town center, if I put it out over here on the gold and I've got 10 villagers on the gold, I want to be supervising that drop-off, because then I would be having equivalent to 12 vills on the drop-off, but I can't do that if the town center's out there. So it's a nice and easy way just so that you can keep everything kind of clustered together. You don't really have to think about it. And it means that it's pretty easy to defend as well, right? If you get ram pushed here, I'm going to be pretty happy trying to defend if I've got, like 6 villagers in between these two trying to repair this town center. Like, good luck ever trying to take those out with melee units. So that's the kind of way I think about it, and that's part of the reason why you do see it. But Wheelbarrow is now going to be coming through for the beast. We'll check in with Mido on that north side of the map as he gets chased away. At least that scout gets chased away, and you can see him moving out with a lot of spears. So it looks like it might be a bit of a castle age play here. So the Sipahi is coming out here. So the Sipahi, of course, is the unit that's got that little bit of extra range on that attack now. So it's still a melee unit, but you can see how far those units attack. That is pretty crazy, just how far they're able to attack. And you can see I think he's used the fortitude ability. Yeah, he's used the fortitude ability, so he's going to be attacking faster. And it looks like that Vill might... Did that... Excuse me? The villager teleported. Oh, that's crazy. He hit the villager right as it went inside and then teleported outside. I don't believe in teleportation. Well, at least there's no evidence for it at this stage. But I tell you what, that looked pretty... I mean, Exhibit A. Exhibit A, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Med Imperial Armory. Going to be going down here. Of course, it's in the radius of the blacksmith. Scout standing on the position. Look at this Beastie. I don't know if he's aware, but he is blocking this. And there's 12 villagers wanting to build this, and they can't. It's just standing there. So he's just kind of... He's just got to kind of chill. And Mido doesn't realize this, so he's being delayed at the same time. Beastie might be thinking about doing the same thing. Outpost's going to be coming up here. The consequence of not putting this Barbican over here is that now all of a sudden you can't really do too much over at the Sipahi. Look at them, trying to stab through on these villagers. We'll be able to do it. A lot of pressure put over here. I don't know if we saw many vills go down, but he's already lost 3 this game. So Mido doing a good job staying on the aggressive. And now going to cancel. There's the MIA going to get thrown down. And look at that. I mean, Mido should have been up to the castle age at this point. Beastie just denying so much. I think it was a little bit of luck, but at the same time, I think he intentionally blocked that blacksmith position, knowing if he wants to go castle, this is where he's going to look to put it down. And he was on the money. So over on this west side of the base for Beastie, I still feel like this Barbican hasn't achieved a lot. I mean, a wall here would have done the same thing. But even then, you know, I often remember a game that I played against GUA where I put a Barbican down. I'm like, yeah, get through that, mate. And like a knight just ran past, and I was like, okay, well you just ran past. Fair enough. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. But we do now see spears getting chased away here. It's interesting to see the Sipahi so potent in this fight here. Spearmen yet to receive their hardened upgrade at the moment from Mido. I'm suspecting that's because there's no barracks down back here, but there's the barracks coming through, so might be looking to move through to veteran. See, the castle age comes through. I don't even know what vizier point did he go for. Did he go for imams? Yes. No, that's a spearman. He didn't go for, has he been saving his vizier points? Surely he didn't go for sheep. I mean, he could have gone for sheep. How many? I don't see it. Mosque now coming down, rushing it with 6 villagers. He is in an absolute hurry to get that one down. On the other side of the map, though, Beastie is going for the astronomical clock tower. 11 villagers building that one, and we start to see that villager migration that we talked about. Nice little safe position on the back here. I'd honestly just be looking to throw down a granary down here, because this is such a great spot. I mean, this is exactly where you want to be putting your granaries. So you might as well just front load that bad boy. Yeah, it's a bit expensive now. You might not be able to afford it now, but it's such a good little spot. But the age up now comes through. You will notice there's with the age up now, all of the buildings glow gold. So it's a nice little visual indicator there that, hey, you've reached the next stage. All right, well, Beastie's starting to break away on the villager count. He's up 13 vills at the moment. He's lost 3, so Mido doing a decent job to keep him down, and Hand Cannon Slit's going to be coming in on the outpost. Spear's doing a good job of forcing back these villagers for now. Causes a bit of idle time. Doesn't manage to do too much damage, though. And now on the other side of the map, with Mido in the castle age, you can see that he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 military schools here. Do we potentially see a Janissary timing here? Honestly, the way that Mido's playing this is absolutely perfect. There it is, there it is. This is exactly what I was talking about. Here, you've got the Barbican that's sitting here, and it's like, well, I don't care. Like, what's the Barbican gonna do? And this was like my whole shtick, where I'm like, I don't like the Barbican in this spot. I feel like a wall is just so much better here, because the Barbican, yeah, it looks tough, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really achieve much out there. But you could see that, fortunately, Beastie reacts perfectly. Throws down the wall, and of course, had a granary gone down here, you probably wouldn't have been able to wall it in. I mean, you might have been able to. It would have taken you a little bit more, but the knight just going to, Lancer just going to sit there for the moment, and Relic's starting to get picked up. That's going to be the first one coming through for Mido. Now, for anybody who doesn't know about Mido, let me tell you a little bit about him. Now, I don't want to go too much into detail, but this guy used to play Age of Empires 3. He was incredibly good. I'm talking world champion over in Age of Empires 3. Played up against the world's best players like Kaiser, Klein, and Hazard, and constantly was taking games off them. So an incredibly good player. When Age of Empires 4 came out, he played for a little bit, but he never entered into any tournaments. And unfortunately, I would have loved to have seen it, because he's an incredibly good player. And if you've recently come across Age of Empires, you've probably never heard of him. But there is a reason he is challenging Beastie in this game so far. I can tell you now, he's not in my top 5. But that's not for long. I tell you what, if Mido starts playing this game seriously, he will easily be in my top 5. And look, I'll admit my top 5's a bit crowded. There's probably about 13 people in my top 5 at the moment, but there's always room for one more. You know, it's that classic case of there were 14 in the bed and the little one said roll over, and then like Mido pops out. He's like, hello! And he was hiding in there the whole time. Anyway, we move on, we move forward, and Mido now going to be pushing out with the Mangonel. Of course, he's got siege pressure. Now, one of the things I love to talk about in this matchup is that with siege pressure, you've got that constant flow of mangonels. The one thing to note is that Beastie, his landmark, is a siege workshop, and not just any siege workshop, an astronomical siege workshop, which allows him to have access to siege. He doesn't need to build the siege workshop. He doesn't need to spend the money or spend the resources on that siege workshop. He's already got it in cube. But now we look towards the base of Mido. Does he possibly think about going for this Janissary timing push? He could do it. 10 Janissaries. Remember, it has been recently buffed. He could look to do something like that. Could go into trade bags. Is up to 168 gold a minute on the trade network. Not too bad either. The push still coming for the moment. So he's gone up to 4 military academies, military schools. The 1 MIA, and I don't actually know what he's gone into. So maybe, so unfortunately we can't see. You know, we can't see exactly what he's gone into, which is interesting, right? Like, it sucks. I would have loved to have been like, oh, you know, well, he's gone into the, what's it called? Not military campus. Military campus is the extra one. I think it's like the extra production speed, whatever that one is called. That's what I'm going to be suspecting he goes into, because he's already got 4 of the military schools out. So it just makes sense to really invest further into that. We see men-at-arms now starting to come out. Now, one thing to note about this matchup, and I've talked about it before, the Ottomans have an incredible ability to get so many units out onto the field. I remember playing a game, it was like a 30-minute game against an Ottoman player. And at the end of the game, I'm like, there is no way this guy is on one base. Like, there's just too many units. I don't know how he's producing this many units. I check his base. There's literally one TC. He's just one TC, and it's just been military schools the whole time. I had no idea. I was like 2 TC, Song Dynasty. I was having a field day out there. But just look at this villager count at the top of your screen and just remember that even though Mito might be behind by 20 villagers, there are ways that he mitigates this. There are ways that he closes the gap. Number one, he has picked up relics, but Beastie has managed to beat him out on that. He's up to 3 relics, Beastie is, compared to Mito, who only managed to pick up 2. So we'll cross that one off. But Mito is starting to take sacred sites. On top of that, he's also got the military schools. Now, these military schools, while they aren't technically villages, they do add an effective unit that you're gonna be receiving over the course of the game at a pretty constant rate, and that subsequently is a form of economy. But we can now start to see Beastie is getting out the Palace Guards. The classic Palace Guard raid is going to be coming through. Just 3 Palace Guards. Not a whole lot of upgrades coming through on these bad boys just yet. And Mito not really able to find a way through at this point. We can see him kind of sitting up in position, looking to try and posture. More Palace Guards going to be running into the base, and Mito, unfortunately, not a lot of walls, which means that, unlike the base of Beastie, he's going to be completely open wide. We can see idle villagers now going to be running from all corners of the map. It looks like no spearmen here, but the Palace Guards will be able to cause damage to those villagers, and we can see the Knights coming back. Mito definitely feeling right now. You could tell he's been out of the game for a while, struggling here with the raids from Beastie. Obviously getting hit in 3 or 4 different places at once. We can see still being attacked over here. Beastie's managed to take out 8 villagers and build that gap between them. Up now to 94 villagers for Beastie compared to 62 for Mito, but it looks like the Lancers should be able to clean this up. Mito yet to pick up any upgrades himself, despite having the Blacksmith, in fact, having a second Blacksmith here. So a little bit of an absence of upgrades, and we finally see Wheelbarrow coming through for Mito, so quite late on that, but hold your horses. Double Mangonel could be coming in off the top rope. Ladies and gentlemen, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Okay, he's just watching. Mangonel's finally realized big shots come down. He's got the extra health from the... oh my god. Oh, don't do him like this, Beastie. No! Oh my lord. I love Nest of Bees, dude. I love Nest of Bees. There's a reason this unit I genuinely think might be overpowered. As long as there's like enough spearmen here to keep them alive, and he's going to try and run in right now. I don't think he's got the numbers for it. He's going to try though. He loops back around. A couple of Knights on the backside. Mangonel's shot off towards the back. Manages to get in on top of it. I think he should be okay here. The men-at-arms also going to be connecting. Remember, the Beastie can always pull villagers, and oh, he's going to pull the Monk. He's going to defend all the Nest of Bees with the Monk, the Wallalol. I remember doing this in a game with Lidakor. He throws down the Wallalol. He says, come, try, bring it on, I dare you. And indeed, he's going to try. Throws the relic. He needs to throw this one in and then pull out another relic. He should be able to get the refresh on it. Looks like the Nest of Bees will go down, so he manages to take out one. A lot of these are quite low on health. And now at the same time, counterattacks happening in the base of Mito. You can see he's managing to do a decent job cleaning it up, but he's going to have to head back to the drawing board. A little bit of a silly decision, I think, there. Now, the problem that you've got is you really don't want to be fighting a siege war against the Mito just taps out. Mito just taps out. He says, you know what? I can't. You're scaling into the late game. You're on 2 TCs. I've just lost everything. Your Nest of Bee mass was untouched, and Mito taps out. He says, good game, well played. Let's go next, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Fellas, go check out Beastie. I'll leave a link in the description, and I'll catch you in the next game. We're going to be casting plenty of games between these 2 players.